1, but you can also feel his friendship with the Philippian church. And while I was reading it, I could hear them running through the streets, because this was originally a letter that they received. And since they couldn't follow Paul on Instagram, they needed an update on his situation because he's in prison, I believe in Rome, but he may have been in Caesarea, but wherever he was, they wondered, is he getting out? And so when the letter came from Paul, you can almost hear them knocking on Lydia's door. She's the one who God used to start the church in Philippi many years earlier, and gathering Lydia and maybe gathering the guard that kept Rome. The first time that Paul came to Philippi, he was put in prison and chained up too. Now he's chained up in a different place, but it's nothing new to him. He's used to this. This isn't the first time that he's been in an uncertain situation. And so he just knows what to do. And when they open the letter, I can almost hear them wanting to know, is he getting out? Because we need him. Because he's essential to the movement called Christianity. Because he's the most brilliant mind we have. Because he's the one who can take the gospel to the Gentile world. I mean, he's the one who can break it down so people can understand it. He's the one who can debate the scholars. Is he getting out of prison? Should we get the Welcome Home from Prison committee ready for Paul? Is he coming to see us? And Paul does something really interesting. He starts off in verse 12, and he says, I want to tell you about what happened to me. And then he doesn't say anything about what happened to him. Because he's old. That's what I thought. I thought he's old. He's lost his way. Just, one too many in the head, He's been through a lot. Give him a break. But what I realized, and this is what I wanted to teach on tonight, is that Paul is illustrating two dynamics of faith. And the first one is that the event is not as important as the interpretation. Let me show you. I think this is going to help you. Because Paul's like, I want you to know, brothers and sisters, about what happened to me. It actually served to advance the gospel. He doesn't say how the prison food tastes. He doesn't say how his cell is or how he's being treated. He doesn't really describe the detail about his trial or ask them to circulate a petition so he can get out soon. It seems like Paul is less concerned about God changing his situation, and he's more concerned about what God is doing inside of him. And a lot of times I've noticed that my prayers and my desires are more about God change my situation than God change me. And there is someone here tonight, I bet there's two or three, who have been asking God to change your situation. And maybe he will. And many times he does. But just in case he doesn't, I came with an encouraging word for you. Yes, you. You in the weird relationship. Yeah. You in the season where you feel so stuck. You in the thing that you're going home to that you wish you weren't going home to. You that are getting on an airplane tomorrow and you wish you could stay at Hillsong conference until 2019. You who are going home to situations that you've been asking God to change. The only thing I want to point out in this passage is that you are not a hostage to your situation. Woo! Yeah. I'm going to preach this till you believe it. I'm going to preach this until you are absolutely convinced, because if anybody could have seen himself as a hostage, it's Paul. He's falsely imprisoned, falsely accused. He has no trial date set, and it's not fair, and it's not right, and there's so much he doesn't know about the outcome. But Paul's faith is not in the outcome. Paul's faith is in the God who is faithful in the process, no matter the outcome. He says something really cool. He says, I want you to know that while I'm in this prison, the gospel is still going forward. He says, actually, what's happening to me, and this might be true of you, what's happening to me that I wish wasn't happening, that I didn't ask for, that I did not choose. How many of you are going through something right now that you did not choose to go through? Paul said, I didn't choose it, but if God doesn't change it, I'm going to let him use it for his glory. So don't even worry about me, because actually, while I'm in this prison, the gospel is making progress. And he uses an interesting word. He says it's advancing. But the original word that he uses doesn't mean that it's moving forward, freely flowing. It means that it is making progress despite severe opposition or extreme blows. What's happening to me is action producing something far greater in me. And the devil always wants to hide your progress so that you lose your courage. But sometimes the moments when you feel it the least is when it's building the most. Paul said, I'm not a hostage. I'm not chained to these Roman guards. These guards are chained to me. And while I'm in this prison, I want you to keep praying for me, and if God lets me out, I'm going to come see you, and I'm going to keep praying for healing, and I'm going to keep praying for this breakthrough, and I'm going to keep praying for a better job, and I am believing God for some things, but in the meantime, don't get it twisted, devil. I'm not a hostage. In other words, I'm not waiting until one day win to worship God. I'm not waiting for deliverance to thank God for my development. I'm not waiting to smile for the struggle to be over. I'm smiling right in the middle of the struggle to confuse the enemy until he doesn't even know what he's dealing with anymore. I'm not a hostage. Somebody shout, I'm not a hostage.
I'm not a hostage.
Just because I'm in these chains doesn't mean I'm bound. My feet might be bound, but my mind isn't chained. My feet might be bound, but I'm free where it counts. I'm free in my spirit. I'm not a hostage. He says something so only old people could see it this way. He says in verse 15, I am put here for the defense of the gospel. He says, God put me here. No, Paul, Caesar did. And Paul said, no. Caesar is the one who sentenced me, but God is the one who sent me.
Amen.
It's like Joseph, who was betrayed by his brothers, and he wanted them to know, in the end, don't even worry about it. God used what you did to get me here for a greater purpose than either of us can know. So I'm good. I forgive you. I'm good. I'm not bitter. I'm good. My heart's not broken about it anymore. Because God put me here. I'm not a hostage. I'm not a hostage to a broken heart. I'm not a hostage to unforgiveness. I'm not a hostage to jealousy of what somebody else has. I'm not a hostage to what they think of me or what they said about me. As a matter of fact, I'm not a hostage. I'm a weapon in the hands of God.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying. Essentially. God did it. God put me here in this moment, raising these kids in this season of singleness. And it's crazy because he could have chosen to interpret it any way he wanted. But he said, if God is going to use these chains to set me free from me, that's what I've been praying lately.
Yeah.
It's a different prayer than I prayed in my 20s. In my 20s, I was praying God would set me free from hard things and crazy people.
Yeah.
But now that I've spent some more time with me, I've been praying, God, set me free from me. And that's what I think the man is trying to say in Philippians 1. I've been reading it a lot. I do this all the time. Just read this stuff, and I read it, and I read it, and I read it. And then something will hit me like, how is the book about freedom written from a prison? How is the book about joy? It's called the happiest book in the Bible. And it's written in a severe trial. Because Paul is free where it matters the most. And that's what he's figured out. He has figured out what matters the most. And it set him free. I picked up one little thing he said, and I've been going around saying it. I really like it. And I don't know if you have a favorite Bible verse or if you're new to this. I want to suggest, a lot of people are going to tell you like John 3:16 is great. But it's, it's been done. Jeremiah 29:11 is an Old Testament favorite. Lots of them. Galatians 2:20, whatever. That's a Joel Bell verse. It's like really, really deep. But this one will be good for you if you're just getting started. Verse 18. Because let me give you a little more background. He's like, some people are saying this, some people are saying that, some people like me, some people don't. But whatever they say or whatever they do, God's ultimately His hand. No matter who it comes through, it has to pass through God to get to me. So I'm good.
Yeah.
Put here. Oh, I was going to tell you about one thing before I give you this verse. I was going to tell you about this old lady who was like, she was in a desperate situation and needed food, and she was praying for food. And her neighbor was an atheist, and he would laugh at her because she'd be outside singing. And he knew that she was very poor and that she didn't have any food, and she believed in God. And he just thought that was so paradoxical and ironic that she would believe in a God who couldn't provide for her, but she'd be walking around her yard singing, I got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. Oh, I got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. Oh, I got a feeling everything's gonna be alright. Be alright. Be alright. So one day, I love the preach. The neighbor goes and buys some groceries and drops them off on her doorstep, and he thinks it'd be funny to knock on the door and run and watch her react as she comes out to the front door. And she's so excited, She starts screaming, God did it. 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 Just over and over again. And he waited till the right moment. He jumps out and he said, nope. I did it. I bought the groceries. God doesn't exist. This is proof. She was kind of resilient, so she was like, God did it. God did it. God did it. And he was like, no, he didn't. I bought the groceries. Here's the receipt. And then she was like, God did it. And he made the devil pay for it. But it doesn't matter who did it. God's going to use it. I'm not a hostage. And all things work together for the good. Paul says, some like me, some don't. Some are for me, some are against me. But I found out if everybody likes you, you're not doing it right.
Amen.
That's for the pastors. So here's where he came to. When it was like on the line, he's like, I'm here, I don't want to be here, but I'm put here, and God's using me, and I want to get out, but I'm going to be used while I'm here. Because watch this, verse 18. This is your new favorite verse. But what does it matter? You know how much better you would sleep if you could just say that about 98% of the stuff that's been stressing you out. Now, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, because honestly, I need your prayers about this too. And in fact, I'm going to ask you right now, selfishly, just stretch your hand toward the stage and pray for me. Let's interrupt the sermon and repeat after me. God, I pray for Pastor Stephen Furtick that he can stop being so petty, worrying about stupid stuff. Now put your hand on the person on either side of you, both on their shoulders, both on either side. Say, God, I pray for my brother or sister, that they would stop losing sleep over stuff. It won't matter. In a week. And God, I pray. They stop trying to impress people. Who didn't die for them. And God, I pray. They stop worrying. About the things that you've already worked out. Lift your eyes to the hills and know their help comes from you. When you speak it, you shout your father. On it now, he's like, I'm put here. God didn't chain me, but God is going to use this situation.
Amen.
He can and he will, but even if he doesn't, here's. I choose. Isn't this weird? He's like, I don't know if I want to live or die. Paul, they're not asking you. He's got a choice, even though he doesn't have control. He's still got a choice. And he's like, what does it matter? I got a whole bracelet. I got this bracelet made for our whole church. It says, you want one? Send me your mailing address. I'll put it in the mail. WDIM. That's my new thing. What does it matter? You saw WWJD? This is like a different thing of that. It's just to remind me. Like, here's the thing. I hear all this chatter. I hear all this. I got all this stuff in my head telling me that my priority needs to be how I feel, or my priority needs to be a certain level of status that I can't keep up with because I'm comparing my behind the scenes with everybody else's highlight reel. So I'm insecure. And I'm comparing the scene that I'm in to a story, and I can't get peace in my life. And Paul says, I have peace in prison, and joy in tribulation, and hope in darkness, because I got my priorities straight.
Amen.
I made a choice. What matters to me? Look what he says. He says, it's my favorite verse, but I don't have it memorized. Okay. Yeah. But what does it matter? That's your new radio station, okay? WDIM. That's what I want you tuned into. What does it matter? He says, the important thing is, and listen, whatever you put next, that's what your joy is connected to. Is it on the screen? Yeah. The important thing is, and he says that in every way, whatever people think, or whatever I have to suffer for it, and I'm not here yet, and I know you're not here yet, but he's our example saying, the important thing is, to me, that Christ is preached. And because of this, I rejoice. Because your joy is connected to your highest priority. That's why your highest priority cannot be another person. And that's why your highest priority cannot be popularity. And that's why your highest priority cannot be pleasure. Because you can only get high so many times before it doesn't do it anymore. And whether it's high off of sex or substance or approval or validations or likes, whatever it is that's your drug of choice, I don't want to be chained to that. So Paul says, I feel the Spirit of God in this place, Carl. This is like the easiest atmosphere I've ever preached in my life. I want to ruin it. I want to ruin it now. I want to tell you something. God's not the only one who offers you a choice. And the enemy sees your potential. No, you're not Paul, called to be the emissary of the gospel to the Western world. I get it. But like him, there's a calling on your life. And I was talking to one of the youth here at Hillsong, New York, named Ethan. And I wanted him to come up real quick because I wanted to show you something about choosing your chains. See, while he's coming, I'll demonstrate. Since the enemy knows your potential, he comes along and offers you a choice. It could be a choice to become bitter, like Paul could have done. It could be a choice to stay in a relationship that continues to take you down paths, not where you're influencing them, but where they continue to suck the Christ life out of you. It can be choices related to certain things that we begin to depend on, because choices don't stay choices. It starts as a choice. And especially if you're young, like Ethan, before you know it, the choice becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And so now you made the choice to get angry, but you make it enough times and it's no longer a choice that you're making. It becomes more ingrained. It becomes a pattern.
Yeah.
A habit. And now you're just doing it. And this could go for everything from Oreos to pornography.
Yeah.
To where it's not just one anymore. And now it's not just occasional anymore. Because the enemy knows your potential. And if you get free, you're going to fulfill your calling. And you're going to break chains for generations. And something awesome is going to be unleashed in your life. And since the enemy comes with a choice, you don't see it for what it is. It becomes a habit. And if a habit is repeated long enough, it becomes automatic. And now it's no longer even conscious. This is just what I do. I just push people away. This is what I do. I just manipulate people. This is what I do. I just get selfish and I get my way, but then I'm all alone. Because the price of manipulation is loneliness. And now, what was once a choice, what I did occasionally, now has become a habit that I've done repeatedly. Now, it's become automatic. And like Paul said one time in Romans 7, he was like, the things I want to do, I don't do. The things I don't want to do, I do. How many can relate to this? I don't even like it anymore, but I do it. And I hate it, but I do it. It's just who I am. And the enemy wants you to think now this is your identity. He wants you to believe that it's not just what you do, it's who you are. Because I've noticed a lot of times, the devil believes in our potential more than we do. And so he comes to us with a choice. Choice becomes a habit. The habit becomes automatic. And now you think it's who you are. Now you think it's your nature. I was like this. My mom was like this. My dad was like this. I've always been like this. I'll always be like this. I prayed for breakthrough last year at conference. And now he's got me in these chains. No, he doesn't come to you with a chain. He comes to you with a choice. Because if you saw it for what it was, you would run. If you saw it as the thing that was going to keep you from who you were destined to be, you would have run, but you didn't see it. You were 13. You didn't see it for what it was. If you had seen it for what it was, you would have done it differently, but you didn't know. He doesn't come with a chain. He comes with a choice. And once he's got you, give me your left arm. It's a choice. Became a habit. Now it's automatic. Preach it right to somebody, and they feel shackled, ashamed, frustrated, like I feel. Frustration. And they didn't know it until it was seemingly too late. It started with a choice. And now it feels like change. So now Ethan started with a choice, turned into a habit, became automatic. Thought it was who he was, and now later in life he tries to pursue Christ, but no. Because I got you on this chain. And now he gets married and he wants to love his wife, but if he made a choice that became a habit, that became automatic, that he thinks it's who he is, but he's convinced it's his nature. If he's allowed that shame to placate his soul, he'll try to be intimate with a woman, but the moment he does and love a woman, the enemy says, no, I got you in this chain. And maybe God has a calling on his life for business, or NASA. He's wearing a NASA shirt. Maybe he's going to be an astronaut. I don't know about Ethan. I just met him 45 minutes ago. He looked smart with his glasses, but he was going to do something great. And so now he's going to do something great, and the enemy's got him on this chain. But the sad thing is, if you think this is a young and free message, you haven't been listening. Because so many people in this room tonight, and this is why I had to get here to preach to you, the devil has been dragging you around like this for decades. Chained to mindsets, and every once in a while, you go to make a break for it, Ethan. But you've learned to just go along with it because it hurts less if you just go along with it. See, when you try, he's fine as long as he doesn't try to go the other way. But watch when because I got him on this chain. When I came to declare tonight over your life from a prison cell in Rome, from a preacher named Paul, who said, I'm not chained to who I was. Paul called himself the chief of sinners, but I am not identified by who I was anymore, because if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone, the new is come. So, I need you to get this message. I'm not chained to my mistakes. I'm not chained to my bad decisions. I'm not chained to my shame. I'm not chained to what people think I am who've known me for 43 years. I'm not chained to what I did when I was 16. I'm not chained to these Roman guards. If you want to know why I have a hope and why I, in the midst of a dark situation and a dysfunctional self that I deal with on a daily basis, why I worship and why I rejoice and why I have hope and why I know that I'm loved and why I refuse to quit no matter what comes my way. I'm not chained to my past. I'm chained to grace. I found another chain. I thought you'd be excited. Because Paul said, greater than my shame, my sin, my circumstances. I've spent enough time letting the devil take me up and down and up and down with what I feel. When I found Christ, I found a love that will not let me go. And let me tell you something, on behalf of everybody who came in here tonight changed, this grace will not let you go, even if you want to. Try to get away. Come on, Ethan, I live, man. Try to get away. Try to get away. Try to get away. I need 3,000 people who know God is good. There's another chain. It's called grace. My hope is built on nothing less. Today's choices, stay standing, become tomorrow's chains. And God has brought you in this place tonight. I mean, he brought you to the back row of the Barclays. To the front row of the Barclays tonight. To change chains. You've been chained to the memories and your mistakes and your deficiencies and your failures and your opinion of yourself. But I believe God desires tonight to break some chains and to start some new ones. To start something new. Because I'm going to tell you something, Ethan. I thought when I was 16 that I chose Christ. But I found out now, yeah, hold it, man. But really, he chose me.
Amen.
So if I didn't choose him, and he chose me, that means he knew every dumb thing I would do, and he chose me anyway. I just want you to stand tonight and make a choice. No, I'm making the choice tonight to trust God. You know what a choice becomes, don't you? I just taught this 7 minutes ago.
Habit.
It's a habit. If you trust him once, you can trust him again.
Amen.
If he brought you through last time, why would you doubt his goodness in this season? Before long, it's going to be automatic.
Woo. Yes.
And then trusting God won't just be something you do. A child of God is your identity.
Amen.
It's who I am.
Amen.
It's who I am. Somebody shout, it's who I am.
Who I am.
It's my nature. And if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old is gone, and the new is come. Heads bowed, eyes closed all over this auditorium. To the man or the woman who has been dragged around by feelings of unworthiness or by the sensation that you will never be enough. I come bearing good news tonight. You don't have to be enough. Christ is in you. He is. And in a world that offers endless fixes with no contentment, tonight I offer you the opportunity to be truly free. Of course, this doesn't mean you'll be free from pain. Of course, this doesn't mean you'll be free from struggle. Of course, this doesn't mean you'll be free from everything that you were dealing with right when you came in. But to be free, indeed, means to be free from the need to live up to a standard that you could never meet. It means that you become what you've been all along, a beloved child of God.
Yes, Lord.
I want to pray with you now, particularly for those of you who have been dragging around heavy chains. Every addiction imaginable would be represented in a room this size. Every regret imaginable would be represented in a room this size. But there's nothing greater than the grace of God. And God wants those chains off of his children tonight, in Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Right where you are, I want to pray for you if you've been in a situation lately and you've been asking God to get you out of the situation, but maybe he's using the situation to get some stuff out of you. And you want me to agree in prayer with you right now that you would be able to embrace this situation and see the glory of God. Would you just lift your hand so I can pray for you right now? Father, in the name of Jesus, you know every desire, every disappointment. You know it by name and you know it in detail. And I come into agreement now with my brothers and sisters that they will see the goodness of the Lord in their situation. I ask that those who have been weary and exhausted and heavy laden would find rest in your presence tonight. And I ask that that great grace that is greater than all sin, greater than all fear, would overwhelm their hearts, and that for the first time in a long time tonight, they would experience what only you can give, deep peace. God, I pray for those who need freedom from bondage that has been a part of their life for a long, long time. I pray that tonight would begin the process of freedom. And if that means they need to confess to somebody what they're really struggling with and stop covering up stuff that they've been carrying around for too long, I pray that they would be set free from the need to appear like they've got it all together and throw their arms around somebody and say, I need the grace of God and I need help and I need a new beginning. God, set us free from the need to look like we have it all together and to admit we are helpless without you and desperate for you.
Yes, my Lord.
You are everything to us. In Jesus' name. Heads bowed, eyes closed. Put your hands down for another moment. For those who are here tonight who would like to begin a relationship with God, I want to assure you that everything that needs to be done for you to experience a relationship with God has already been done by Jesus. And I believe that the reason you're sensing him